So, Anime FMK.
Anime FMK is our show where we talk about things that are bad.
Yep.
All the things are bad forever.
Everything on this list is bad.
Everything's
I
bad.
can't believe everything's bad.
Everything's bad. It's too late. It's
That
just
sucks.
a fact.
That
It's-
sucks. Yeah.
It's the world we live in.
It's 2018 and everything is just terrible.
Yep, everything is the worst. Guys, let's talk about Chio's School Road. In episode 5, in part 1, a potty emergency has Chio trapped in the men's room. In part 2, Hall Monitor-chan challenges Chio and Manana to prove the depth of their friendship.
I'm in love with every time Chio does her stupid game brain bullshit. I
Yep.
thought I'd hate it. I thought it would be the worst, but it constantly reminds me of when I was a kid and I would kind of do that shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. I like it.
I love nothing cracked me up more this episode than them doing this stupid dance. Like that actually
Yes.
really did get me.
That was great.
like that was delivered with such conviction from both of them that it really sold the stupidity for me.
So, you know how you talked about what you liked from
No.
the show last season,
Nope.
the Gundam pilot?
Nope.
No. What was it?
I don't remember.
Tiramisu. I think this hits home for me more with similar kinds of humor of
Yeah, very similar.
of trying to hit these points where if you're familiar with say any anime and gaming, it's like, okay, so when she says we have to do that, no, we could die. We have no other choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's everybody taking everything really seriously, and
But
it's not.
But the best part is it's diegetically organic because
yeah.
I could totally see a couple of kids just synchronizing like that and being like, we've got to do the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I started taking a diegetically organic solution every morning, and now I'm regular like clockwork.
It's really does a wonder for the lymph nodes.
Yes, especially the lymph nodes.
Mhm.
Other nodes too, but especially the
Yeah,
lymph
the lymph
one.
nodes
Yeah.
get nice and porous.
Yes. And
Yeah.
they can absorb the nutrients.
All the nutrients that they absorb normally.
No, that's the last show on this
Oh
list.
yeah, I'm
sorry.
I'll save the biology lesson for later.
Skipped ahead to cells at work.
Yeah.
So this episode, it must be said, had a lot more of that gross panty shit that I don't care for.
Yeah.
But everything surrounding it was so much fun that I was more willing to forgive it than I usually am.
Ditto. That, like, okay, look. The girl's leaning over with the cat and the two dudes ogling her. I'm like, okay, you're at least using this
They
as
worked it in, so I'm okay with it.
You're
But
using
that
this.
was
Yeah. Chio, though, was like really gross. Like, that was something I never ever needed to see.
The whole piss thing was.
The piss thing was
Yeah.
hilarious. I'm
Oh,
letting that
okay,
one go.
He's into piss. But I made my skin crawl. But I wasn't terrible. I was
Like-
just like, "Ugh."
Well, it was funny to me because I've been in that situation.
But I don't need the imagery.
The
I don't
ima-
need all that.
The imagery was a little bit much.
I will say that by the very end, where the guys are ogling and wanting just like a little more of a, and then directly behind them is
Yeah.
just full on ass in face, but they don't even see it. Like, it's not being played for titillation. I don't think. I don't know. I'm sure somebody somewhere fapped to it.
Certainly.
But the situation is absurd enough to justify it to me. I found
Yeah.
it actually funny.
You know, if you were somebody who is not kind of squicked by high school girls showing off their panties and ass, it could be a very effective joke because I didn't even consider the angle of they want to peek at these girls' panties and
Yeah,
meanwhile
that was-
right behind them.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid joke conceptually. It just I have bad faith in these people.
Yeah.
Like I have bad faith in the people writing this to not play that for titillation.
Well, and that's the thing. They sort of did just a moment before when she was like leaping up towards the window, and for no goddamn reason, hey, here's your little panty shot.
Yeah, that's why it kind of bothers me. But that being said, you having fun over there, Tyler?
Yeah, stop! Don't look at the camera.
No, I'm not worrying about it.
Yeah, Tyler asked me, hey, is it okay if I fuck around with, more wipes and fades and dumb bullshit? And I said, you haven't been the whole time? Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, I found this episode hilarious and like, especially so I love the fact that in the second part, when she accuses them of being antagonistic with each other and bad influences, their first question is, you don't have any friends,
Yep.
do you?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm just like, take the shot.
Yeah.
It's so fucking on point because when you have a friend for a long time, it just kind of grows into this playful antagonism that is inescapable.
Yep.
Like you make a habit out of kind of targeting your friends and teasing them and seeing what you can get away with.
You really do, you fuckwad.
What? I am a wad that fucks. I don't know. It's not really much of an insult.
I love that. That was so good though, because I love like it kind of it felt like it was playing to the shonen bullshit of the friendship is my power, and if we're all Sugoi friends, everything's fine. And I'm just like, you don't really have any friends if you think all that, do you?
And that's why I do kind of love it, because otherwise this could have been a cynical take, but actually
No,
it's not.
It wasn't. It was just you need to get more life experience.
Yeah.
You should really get some real friends.
Like there are definitely like some relationships between some friends that are a little less antagonistic than others.
Yeah.
But then also this is a completely valid relationship between these two, because as we have seen, when shit goes when they have to work together, man, they can do some cool stuff. And that's the best part maybe about the show so far is Chio and Manana's relationship is so effective.
Yep. And I think it helps thematically too. And boy, whoever thought we would be getting those deep talks of theme out of this of all shows. But the fact that she brings up like, oh, by the way, I got this crush on the teacher, and can you help me with that?
Oh, yeah.
And it all totally falls flat, but it's okay because by episode's end, she's gotten what she actually needed, which was, without any of them really noticing it, she's now friends with Chio and Manana.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And not to mention, I love the part where she tries to do the thing with her teacher. You know, she tries to use the advice, but then you've got this other girl over here who's been doing it for a while. She knows. She automatically puts together like,
Oh, it's like that? Are you okay?
well,
Yeah,
be
we're doing
careful. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. That's wow. Although, wow, Manana. Oh, if you have a crush on the teacher,
Go for it.
Go for it. Worst happens, he gets in trouble. I'm like, damn, girl.
That's cold.
Shit.
It's true, but it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found this episode with a lot of more fun moments than not, and I think as you said, like I feel like I came off strong with my misgivings about the panty shit with like the first episode, because I do think it's like, why? I don't like when you do it when there's no reason. I like when it's worked in, like they did with this episode with the dudes looking at it, and then they played that really well. But
Yeah.
it's not enough to turn me off to the show entirely. I think it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I think this continues to improve every week. I think this is doing something really fresh, and I'm always excited just to see what stupid shit happens.
Yeah. And God, more game brain bullshit, more kids being kids with each other. Like, I thought this was going to be a little bit more high-minded. I thought it was going to do some like crazier stuff, be a little bit more surreal based off that trailer. But what we've gotten works way better in its format, and man, I am so happy we stuck with this show, because it has actually become one of those shows where I know that I'm going to get something that I enjoy out of it every time.
Yep. Yeah, good stuff. Trifecta for those lovable schoolgirls.
Oh, yes.
Now,
Oh no.
let's talk about some less lovable schoolgirls, because it's time to talk about Happy Sugar Life.
Yes!
In episode 4, Pink Girl shows up and murders the two randos and takes Small Girl home. Literally nothing happens for the rest of the episode.
Wait, hold on. Did she murder them?
No.
Yeah, I thought she only cut out their
take out their eyeballs. Who knows
Yeah.
if they were dead?
They don't. I can't remember if they actually said whether or not they
I don't
died.
know if they said that they're dead or not. They probably are.
Yeah,
They're
I suppose
probably
you never saw the bodies.
Oh, you actually do.
Do
You just see them laying down.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
see
like
them laying
there's-
down.
We saw these. There were like these bodies with the eyes gone. I don't know. I don't know how they could have related it. Whatever. This episode rocked. I loved it. It's fucking great.
You know, it's kind of weird. I actually wasn't as into this episode.
There wasn't a lot of crazy over the top shit in this one. This was definitely the most subdued out of all the episodes.
Also, I found the use of its violence to be less entertaining than I thought it would be. I actually, I won't lie to you. The threads of violence, the underpinning of it, was actually more interesting to me than watching her actually.
Yeah, to actually do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree, and I'm glad that they didn't actually like they don't really show anything. You just get like this stupid red filter. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever. But
And I think that's to its benefit. I
Yeah.
think that the line that it's been walking has kind of depended on that. But at the same time, now that it's finally been like, yes, in fact, she does, because it was implied before that she is violent.
Yeah.
Here we see it in active like progress.
yes,
we see
she's
her
actually harmed someone on the screen.
Yes. It actually kind of takes away a little bit of that air for me. I mean, it adds something else by showing, like, okay, yeah, she is a legitimate danger. There is, like, no question about it. And
Because the body bags in the closet were not enough of an indication. Of
well, the body bags in the closet raised questions that definitely implied some crazy stuff. Seeing her actually do it is like, okay, now we're in that territory. We are seeing her actively be violent. But at that point, I don't know, it took some of the mystique away, and it's also being a little less than entertaining with the craziness of its characters. Like, I'm sorry, fucking Pedo Bear is... He's the least interesting one out of this. And then we go back to the teacher licking his screen, and I'm like...
And that's why this episode was, I mean, this show has from jump been actively unpleasant to me. This episode was that and boring because it wasn't telling us anything new in these scenes.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Pedo
We know
Bear's
that
still
she
a pedo bear.
We know that she lives with her aunt and that she probably killed her aunt. We didn't know that.
Actually, I think her aunt might have committed suicide.
Yeah, there are a couple of revelations, like she had an aunt at some point and something happens, we don't know what. There are some hints
She
like
kills
that
her.
that could have been delivered in 30 seconds instead of stretched over this whole long-ass, boring episode where nothing happens.
Well, I'll actually kind of agree with Ben. I didn't dislike... Okay, actually, the scene that I liked was with the aunt, because I actually liked the whole This Is Love 2 part.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I dig out of the show is its psychological underpinnings of like, hey, how fucked up are these people and
Yeah.
why? And that just, that
I know.
unsettles me.
I know.
I'm like,
That
oh,
makes
wow.
my skin crawl. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
yes, give
and-
me it.
And to be clear, I am not saying more of that because I would hate that just as much, just for different reasons. It's just... I've got not much else to go on here other than, hey, I hated this for a different reason this week than last week.
But that being said, I didn't get anything out of Pedo Bear or the teacher. I just kind of felt like it was more of the same that we'd already gotten. The stuff with Chio is also kind of, okay, cool, the little girl's crazy too, but that actually makes it less interesting to me.
I think that's so... I disagree entirely. I feel like knowing that she also has some inkling, because why else would this child not think something is wrong? Because clearly something else has gone wrong in her life, and seeing her drawing like this crazy picture of her daughter in the closet, that was such a cool fucking
Mom?
horror scene, or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean. Drawing the figure in the closet, and then it was a good just framing with it. A lot of really good use with the eyes this whole episode, with the mom having like the real tiny irises. And just coming off really demeaning and commanding. I loved it. I continue to love this show. It's exactly what it is. It's fucking great. And I don't care what happens to it here. I'm going to keep watching it. I got exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. I've been killing this show for a while now, mostly because while it still entertains me, it is not something I actively would want to watch. When I am forced to watch it for the show, I always kind of get... It gets a guttural reaction out of me, and that's something that I kind of enjoy. I kind of enjoy that guttural reaction it gets in the time that I'm getting it. But at the same time, this episode did kind of bore me, which is a step below the last couple of weeks. So, I mean, this knife should be obvious.
I mean, if that one's not, this one really should be.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a double knife for Happy Sugar Life.
Which, unless something else gets the double knife this week,
Yeah, it does put it on the chopping block.
her Happy Sugar Life might be in danger.
Well, there's only one way to know, and that's to continue down this list. Next up, we've got Revue Starlight. In episode 4, Starhead goes off campus for some reason, and Crownhead goes on a big silly scavenger hunt to find her for some reason. They decide that there's nothing in the rulebook that says that a giraffe can't play football. That says a giraffe can't let two people win his weird magic audition thingy instead of just one. So now they're friends again, I guess. There was some other stuff that happened, but I can't tell any other character apart, so I don't know. Some people were dancing. I guess that happens a lot. There
Okay.
was some shit with the hall monitor.
Hey, Ben?
Yeah.
You're just going to sit over there. You're going to be quiet for the next maybe 5 minutes.
But before we do that, I realize one of the things that bothers me so much about this show, which is that I don't know what the fuck the stakes are. They've got this competition, this audition thing to be the top star. What does that actually mean in real world terms? They say, oh, you can't just lose this or else you will lose the thing that makes a... No, what do you actually stand to lose or to gain? Help me care about this, because you're not.
You know, it's sort of weird. I feel like I should be agreeing with you on that. Like, for all... Like I'm going to just, fucking crunk from Emperor's New Groove. By all means, it doesn't make sense. But I don't know why I don't care about that. Because meanwhile, there's so much cool, rich character stuff that they pack into these small little bits throughout this episode. And visually, this episode is amazing.
There's so much shit going on.
Oh my god! Like the fact that the conversation that they keep having on the phone, they keep changing environments as it goes throughout. They change topics. It continues on. You see, Hikari's Hikari leaves because she's going to leave.
Yeah.
She takes her shit with her.
Yeah.
There's a visual implication. She never needs to say it that she was going to leave the school.
She has her shit packed up. She's gone.
Like,
you hear the train. I'm at the train station with all my bags. You know what's happening.
and I love the fact that the only thing that keeps her from doing it is when Kaden calls her. And she decides that she's going to do a catch me if you can style, like, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here. She keeps following her. And I won't lie to you, I actually teared up at one scene, which is where she says, "Why did you lose?" And she's like, I don't know. Like, I felt like I couldn't compete with her. What should I have done? And her response is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either. And I'm like,
And then and then she follows up with, "What do we do now?" And I was like, yes.
I know. And then throughout the episode, you get what their relationship was. You get why it mattered, which was actually a sticking point to me. It was one of the things where I'm like, why does she give a shit about Hikari? Why does Hikari give a shit about Kaden? Why does she get upset when she loses?
Yeah.
And as I find out, there was a promise that they made to each other. It's the reason they started doing this is that they enjoyed watching Starlight together. And I love the fact that when they see Starlight, by the way, they see the cast as they see the cast as not only themselves but the other people in the school.
Yeah.
That, oh my god,
they're just so future minded. They're like, no, this is gonna happen. That's it.
that they're retroactively in their memories putting themselves there.
No, I love that.
And it's such a cool way to do that. And then by the end, they're like, yeah, we're going to go back to the tower. And then by the time they get there, sorry, it's too late. And so they just kind of sit out there and they talk.
Yeah. And that's so relatable to me if I haven't done that a billion times of just going to some place that was important to me and getting together with friends at night and just talking until like 3 a.m.
Yes. Oh my God. The fact that they spend their night just talking and recollecting.
That really resonated with me.
And the fact that Hikari's like, I thought you'd forgotten. She's like, how could I forget that? And that's why Hikari's been so distant. She didn't know if she remembered, and she didn't want to ask because she knew that if she finally asked that,
she'd have to deal with the answer.
Which is why at the precipice, when she's about to leave, is the only time she can bring it up, and the smile on her face.
Yeah.
That smile
good.
as she's walking and talking with her friend. And after that finally breaks down and then they get together, it's so nice and sweet. And again, the visuals that go along with that are tremendously good. I'm like, holy shit, this looks so pretty.
No, they continue to do exactly what they do well. Everything visually in this show is just spellbinding. They have a way with the movement and the colors and especially the soundtrack working with everything in tandem too. Like, it is a very good presentation, and I think that one thing I have kind of resigned and just reserved in my head is that I don't know everything that's happening, and that's okay. That I don't know everybody's motivations and things going on, and as I keep watching, I will understand retroactively what people are doing because that's how they're going to reveal it. And even if they don't, I honestly don't care.
I also love the fact that the way they show the characterization of certain characters through their conversations. They have these short conversations that seem completely inane, but they have little hints at not only their goals, their the way they want to accomplish them.
Yeah.
The fact that Sleepy Girl and Tomboy, they're sitting around and talking while she's kind of laying in her lap.
Yeah.
And, they had that conversation about, like, well, I didn't know you were in there, too. Yeah, well, I am. We'll be competing. We'll probably go up against each other. And Sleepy Girl's like, well, you're going to let me win, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Tomboy freezes up for a second and then pushes her off, which is this small little thing of, like, no, girl, when it gets in there, I'm going ham on your ass. It's not going to be an easy fight. You're going to have to beat me.
Yeah.
Which Sleepy Girl has been one of those characters that's been very interesting because she comes off as kind of lazy and entitled, and she's kind of sleeping her way through this. And I'm kind of looking forward to when she gets out there and kind of being beaten, because I don't know. This show has a lot of like focus on if you're not in this to win this, like what are you doing?
Yeah, I could see that too. They'll probably cast down the resting on your laurels shit, prop up everyone else who's busting their chops, because that seems what it's doing. It's a very Japanese ganbate thing going on here. Which I think is fun.
But it's also it's also very good at not making it too individualistic.
Yeah.
Like we are a group here trying to put this together, and that's why I like that after Maya Tendo beats Blondie, Blondie grabs Tomboy, and it's like, know what? No, I'm one of you guys, and we're gonna do this together. And that's why I love that scene. And when she goes back up against Maya during the dance, and they're talking to each other, it's a different dynamic going on there. It's one of respect on Blondie's part, and Maya Tendo is still like, yeah, but I'm gonna beat you. Like, I'm still better than you.
And that's what I'm curious about, is how it's gonna ultimately come down. Because if it's true that the giraffe has not made provisions against one winner, then yeah, I could see its message being about having the top stars. No, we're all the winners here. Everybody has their role to play.
Well,
We'll see.
We'll see. Although I want to say something about this production that is kind of sad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed it.
So this is actually put together by not a big studio. In fact, it's actually kind of a bunch of amateurs who came together to make this happen. Or not amateurs, but independent animators.
Yeah.
This isn't put together by some high-budget studio. This is a bunch of like freelancers working together to make this show happen. And on Twitter not too long ago, a couple of them were talking about the fact that this show might not finish. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The fact that the show premiered without the fact that 3 or 4 episodes in, the production's already shaky, which I'm assuming this is only a 13-episode show. Wow, I can only imagine what the people working on the show must be going through behind the scenes to make this show happen. Because this is one of the most beautiful shows this season.
Absolutely.
Like, regardless of what you say about anything else, it's really beautiful. You can tell all the passion and talent that's going into it.
Yeah, I'm glad all those passionate, talented people will have something on their resume to go make a better show with a writer that knows how to tell a story.
Yeah, I can't be mad at him when when one of our folks is like, no, be honest, be completely honest with how you feel.
Like, here's the thing. Like, I get that on a symbolic level, it is this rumination on theater, on this idea that what a weird situation this is, where in one sense it's kind of a zero-sum game. Only one person can be the lead, can be the star, but it's also this collaborative effort where we're all coming together to put on this show. And okay, yeah, all right, I can dig on that. This also takes place in Charlie Brown land, where there are no adults. I mean, there is, you see the teacher real quick, but none of these characters have parents. There are no stage moms. Boy, that's a big blind spot in something that's a rumination on high school theater. That nobody has anybody else's expectations as part of their motivation. Everybody is perfectly self-motivated to go for the top shine stardom thing. And when you say, Kieran, that, I don't have a full understanding of everything that's going on, and that's okay. Like, yeah, you're right. I like points of ambiguity in my storytelling. This is all ambiguity. I don't know anything, and that's not okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all coming.
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. here's the thing. Like, what we get out of the show, I don't know if another show could have done this like this. It's impossible to say. What we're getting out of the show is just lining up with our perspectives and our interests, and maybe that's not the most critical way to look at it. Maybe we're not. Maybe you are looking at it through the most critical lens, and that's cool. But what it's trying to do is hitting every checkbox for me in terms of what I'm looking for with this show. Like it's doing stuff that again, other shows I don't think I would have let slide at all. But somehow this one has enchanted me. So. I love this, and I'm really hoping that we see an ending that doesn't look like a hot mess.
This isn't an exception to me. This is something that I like. If you remember, this is me talking about an ending of Devilman where it doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's just imagery out the walls and make sense of it. That's what I think good art is. I think good art is something that you internalize and make yourself. I don't care what your message is. I think every art is a reflection, and it's something that I can get from this, and it's up to you to determine that's worth. And to me, this has a lot of worth to it.
Oh, look at me. I'm into postmodernism. Fuck you.
Sorry.
By the way,
No, actually, I like that point. I think that's actually not only valid, but it's something that, like, one of my perspectives on art is that you should always put yourself into it, pour your image in. Try and make it the best that you can. Obviously, don't just say, well, it's bad, but it's personal, so obviously it's good. This is one of those places where I just see where I think it is its own animal, its own beast
It is,
that is
and
just
that's what I want to see
With
more
a
of.
very long neck and
with a very long neck.
Yeah, a very long neck that stretches up all the way up its own ass and out again, and that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that.
by the way, if this show doesn't continue, then we'll just have more people to work on season 2 of Made in Abyss because it's the same studio.
Oh, I know.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Also, apparently they've been doing the newer .hack stuff. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm looking forward to more Made in Abyss.
By newer stuff, I mean Quantum.
Yeah. No, that one of you.
You know what? I won't lie to you. I am sort of sad that we never got to do our Made in Abyss.
Doesn't
Same
we
here
can.
because I rewatched the entire fucking show for that.
I've seen
Oh,
it like
I'm sorry. You had to Actually, I am kind of sorry you had to rewatch Made in Abyss because while I would recommend everybody watch it, it is. Whoo!
I've seen it like 5 times. I love it.
You have a stomach for this shit.
Yeah,
That
because I want stuff that gets something. This is what I'm talking about with art. I want something that pulls something out of me.
I
want
physically-
anything good. And when something pulls you from your couch lock potato, cynical, jaded robot eyes, that is good.
I mean, I'm not gonna
And
disagree.
that's what I like. That's why I like Happy Sugar Life so much, because it pulls me out of this fucking cocoon.
I would not compare Happy Sugar Life with
I
Made in Abyss.
certainly would.
Ew.
It gets the same, not in a different, cheesier way, but it's the why I like this kind of stuff. I want something to evoke something from me.
well,
Anyway, so what's our next actual show to talk about?
I didn't want to interrupt because I think that's fascinating. I love hearing that. But the next show that may or may not have evoked anything in us, we'll find out, is Banana Fish. In episode 5, Ash makes bail. He, AG, and Shorter hide out with the Chinese mafia while they plan their next move against Papadino, which turns out to be driving a Mack truck straight at him. When that goes poorly, they hide out at Max's place and decide to travel to Ash and Griff's childhood home in search of more information about the banana fish drug.
I love this show.
What a weird show this is.
I know.
Yeah.
It always goes some direction I don't
Yeah.
think it will, but then it does, and I'm like, I should have seen that coming. No, that's fine. That's cool.
Should we though? Should we
I
have been
guess
expected
not.
to see the Mack
I
truck?
wasn't expecting
coming?
the truck and him being on top.
Yeah.
Dino!
I love that hero shot, by the way. That's some good shit.
No, there was a lot of stellar animation this episode.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of really fluid shots, and man.
I have criticisms of the show, but none of them have to do with its visuals or its audio. Like it's
Yeah.
In terms of production,
God, its soundtrack is superb.
yeah. In terms of production, this show is just great, fantastic, love it. In terms of the writing, though, I'm still kind of okay. I mean,
I have trouble getting invested in every character that's not Ash, IG, and to a lesser AG, sorry, and to a lesser extent Shorter, who is kind of a cipher as a character, but
Yeah.
his design and everything he does are just so cool
Yeah.
that I can't help but like him, even as I'm kind of like scratching my head. What's his investment in all this? I don't actually know.
Well, his investment ultimately is that he's actually Max's friend. Like, he cares Max.
Ash's.
Ash, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually Ash's friend.
Yeah.
And that's something that you see, like, in this episode, where he's like, fucker, don't do this alone. Like, why would you do this alone? We're here for you. Like, take our help. And I love their handshake and AG's response. Great storyboarding here. I love how the show just manages to make all the small details work really well. Also, Max is an idiot. Like, Max, you're a journalist. For fuck's sake. Like, have some fucking foresight. Like, I understand that you've been in a bad situation, you've been in prison, you've been struggling, but try to think before you act. Stop, like giving information and not telling people things they need to hear, or telling people things that they don't need to hear, and then it ends up snowballing into a bad situation. God damn it.
I love Max. He's great.
Well, I also love Max. Like, and that's
Yeah.
like, when I say all this, I'm like, damn it, you fucking buffoon. But also, I like Max as a
Yeah,
character.
but also, what are you doing at 10?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. Like, in terms of the season, it's been hard to find some like attractive dudes. Max is like, damn, man.
It's been hard, and also like the top 5 are all in this show.
I know, right?
Oh God, yeah. This is definitely written by a woman. I'll say that.
I don't think this is getting, because there is some exploitative like tone to it, but I don't see it as menacing as I think it's coming off sometimes. I see it as a bit more, yeah, this shit happens in real life and it's disgusting. Let's explore that. I don't know. That's how I see
like
it.
with the child trafficking
Yeah, like the
stuff.
child trafficking
Yeah.
shit. I'm like, that happens.
Yeah, and maybe that's one of the things that kind of weirds me out, is just how casually it sort of drops these things as like, yes, it's child trafficking. I'm like, that's actually really gross, terrible stuff, and we're just kind of, yep, this happens, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those guys who's like, if you're going to use a controversial subject, use it very carefully, or make it kind of like, I don't know. It's a little weird here, but then again, the show is just kind of like, look at all this terrible stuff that happens, and let's focus on the characters.
I think limiting yourself in fiction shirks your life. I think you should explore every facet of a story you can, because you will die, maybe tomorrow.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, as far as this episode specifically, like with the child trafficking, whatever, I can't think how I would want them to handle that differently than they do. Like, sanitizing their horrible mobster mafia crime bosses is not the way I would want them to go. I also don't particularly want them to, no, let's show just how dirty this shit is. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of don't. I think it's enough that, yeah, these are bad people. They do this shit. They're fucking monsters.
So when
let's drive a Mack truck
so
at
when we
them.
drive a truck and they get shot up, and we're just killing people indiscriminately. We're killing Joe, Dick, and Harry left and right. You're not really worried about them because you know they're smuggling children.
Yeah. Also, I love the end scene with Papadino.
Oh, that was so good.
It's a very good scene. Papadino is actually one of my favorite characters in this series.
He's a very good villain.
Yeah, like, I love his whole deal. I love his attitude. I love the fact that he's made a mistake, but now he's doubling down on it, and he's like, nope, fucking, you bring him to me alive. I don't care what you do to him when you while you get him here. I don't care if you cut out his tongue or his eyes or his limbs, but he better be alive when he gets to me.
Yeah.
I just need his heart beating and some part of him warm. Okay, Dino.
Yeah, I like that change, too, from earlier in the episode where he's kind of like, yeah, he doesn't have his gang anymore. He's got no support. He's
Yeah.
not a threat. How do you feel about a Mack truck? How's that for a threat, my dude?
Which I like. It's a very, very brief interaction, but I like them going to Chinatown and talking with Mr. Lee, who's apparently like everybody's arms dealer. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to do anything to Dino, but an enemy of Dino is a friend of mine, so what do you need?
Yeah, by the
So
way,
I'm curious if that'll come in later.
I do love that scene. Mr. Lee is kind of interesting because he's like, he's Chinese, and the Chinese and Japanese have had a very antagonistic relationship. But here we see it from the lens of a Japanese artist. How would they respond here? And it's interesting. A lot of dynamics go into writing for other cultures. So
Yeah, because it's written by a Japanese woman writing a Chinese gang in America in the 80s, transposed to now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on. I'm like, this is really neat.
yeah,
That's why Shenmue's great.
That is why Shenmue's great, honestly.
Shenmue's fascinating.
They keep, speaking of characters, they keep having Shorter's sister show up in such a way that she seems like she'll be important, but she hasn't really done anything yet.
She will probably get killed.
Yeah, could be.
I don't think she'll be killed, but I do think she'll have more importance later.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Shorter's probably going to die.
I can see that as
Could
well.
be.
But this is a really fun. It's a fun drama. I think its characters are really solid. I'm more, I think, personally invested in the mystery stuff. I'm okay with the banana fish is a drug. Oh, okay. But I kind of like that stuff. I'm cool to see what they're talking about, because after Papa Dino, we'll probably have another big bad. Since this is a very long manga, I'm just curious where it's gonna go.
I've heard that the manga is not actually that long.
Oh, really?
It ran for a long time, but it was not on the most
really?
consistent release schedule.
Okay.
I've
so like
heard-
a dance kind of thing.
Yeah, I've heard that this is, and this is, again, just hearsay. I haven't done a whole lot of research, but I've heard they're probably going to be able to finish the story in 26 episodes.
Oh.
Rad. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is good to hear. Okay,
That's really cool.
I'm glad to hear that, because this is not a kind of story I think I would want
Yeah.
to know. That would really suck. I don't love this show, if I had to be honest. I think it's got a lot of great things going for it, but it is also one of those shows that I'm not psyched to see every week. But it is also not a show that I dread. Like, by far, it is one of those things where, again, I know I'm going to get something great out of it. I'm just hoping that I find some stride with it, that it really hooks me. But it's still got a lot of good stuff in it, and for people who are really into this story and these characters, like, I can totally see how and why, and I hope they're getting a little bit more enjoyment out of it than I am. Yeah, you guys, I know you guys are.
Yeah. I mean, this show is, a mixed bag would be fair to say, but the lows are not so low that it
I
drags
don't think
anything
this is
down.
Tonkatsu Ramen's low.
Nope.
No,
Ever.
not even close. That is an eggplant, by the way. That's a trifecta for this show.
I'd like that we can make the comparison. We can easily make.
Because I think it's a very apt comparison between the two, because they're trying to scratch the same itch, but this one is just so much more competent in every way.
Because it's trying to be less anime.
Yes, it is. Weirdly enough, I think.
Yeah, like even when it's silly, it's not anime silly, it's action movie silly.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, there are no. And here's the thing: I don't hate anime being anime. We're going to talk about Planet With here in a little bit,
which is anime being anime.
and I dig on goofy expressions and stuff when they're appropriate, but there are none of that here. Like, this is a seinen title. Like, this is flat out. This is made for adults with adult sensibilities, with with very mature type of storytelling. It's not interested.
We had that kid's perspective character. He died in episode 2. He got shot a lot.
This isn't for you.
That is too soon.
Real quick, have you guys seen Black Lagoon?
Oh yeah.
I need to.
Yeah.
This every time I hear you guys describe this show, that's what pops in my head.
Black Lagoon is better than Banana Fish to me.
Yeah.
But yes, I can wholeheartedly make the comparison between Black Lagoon and Banana Fish.
I think Black Lagoon's more over the top.
Oh, yeah,
than,
wholeheartedly.
than this.
Yeah, I only saw the first 3 or 4 episodes, but just based on that, yeah, I would heartily agree.
You want to talk about more anime? Black Lagoon is more anime, but it's still a totally valid comparison to make, because they have similar character concepts, layouts, ideas. It's just they also have a girl who dresses like a maid and uses an umbrella firearm, and it's amazing. But yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about Planet With. In episode 5, Jojo Boy, having been lobotomized by the alien weapon, becomes normal boy. Glasses Girl figures out that Kuroi Boy has gotten his memories back and is connected with the spaceships. Another big silly spaceship attacks, and Oldman and Kuroi Boy defeat it. As the episode ends, Oldman and Kuroi Boy square off to fight, whilst Doggo and director Luthor also square off to fight. Cliffhanger.
So this is the first time, like, actually, no, I might be wrong, but this is, I feel like, the first time the spaceship immediately evoked something from philosophy, actually, of all things.
Yes, I want to say I want to say it's either a Hindu or something symbol.
Of turtles.
The turtles with the
Yeah.
elephants all holding up the world or whatever. I want to say there's some imagery and some religion about that.
Well, it's actually that the world is on top of a turtle's back.
Yeah.
That's
And
from
the-
Avatar, you idiots.
yes, from Avatar. the book 3, turn your books to
Yep.
chapter 3.
Yeah. No, I think that the world being on a turtle's back is one of those things that pops up a lot of places, but specifically with the 4 elephants, I don't know if it's... I mean, yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but you're right. That is something...
I want to say it's in Hinduism or something.
That sounds
it's
right.
An Eastern,
but
it is an Eastern religion.
it's
and I
one
can't
of the
remember
Eastern
exact one.
religions that my ignorant gaijin ass doesn't know enough about.
I used to know all about that shit. I also got Discworld vibes. I'm like, no, I don't think they're going
Everybody
that
in
way.
the comments is saying Buddhism in Discworld.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Discworld and Buddha. That's what instantly popped in my head.
And the concept behind...
the classic Buddhist text,
Yeah,
Discworld by
Discworld.
Terry Pratchett.
That's right.
And one of my favorite philosophical discussions involving that is like, well, then what's beyond the turtle? Another turtle.
Yeah,
It's
it's turtles all the way down.
Turtles all the way down.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that was kind of neat. That was one of the most
like
striking
that.
things in the episode. I also interesting take with I should remember his name. It's
The senpai.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. Nobuya.
Yes.
I want to say Nobuya. I could be
Blue
wrong.
hair dude.
Yeah, blue hair.
Let's say otaku.
Yeah, Otaku.
Yeah. So we have the otaku, and he is no longer an otaku. He's now a reformed adult person trying.
Did you get that impression?
Oh well.
Because I'm not so sure about that.
Well,
That's something I did want to talk about.
yeah. So okay, I'm curious. What's your perspective on that?
Because what they said was that when they're talking about the Ceiling faction, they're saying that the Ceiling faction traps these. It's because they specifically said they trap people in these pleasurable experiences. I feel like he's saying that I have to move. My dad wants to go somewhere. I think he might still be living either with this illusion or with something that's compelling him to think that what he saw in that illusion is either tangible or will happen. But he has to get his act together to do it.
I am sort of curious because for me, there's kind of this underpinning of people, he got what he wanted, and it was given to him so easy that afterwards, now that he's broken out of that, now that he's away from it, he has no drive anymore.
Yeah.
Like the things that he wanted, the future that he wanted after he's succumbed to these illusions, these easy again. I don't know if he's still suffering from illusions. I don't know what happened, but the idea that his fire has been extinguished is something that I kind of dig on.
Oh,
so
totally.
I'm actually kind of more interested in that being the concept rather than any kind of further illusions.
Yeah, no, I think ultimately the result is, yes, his fire is extinguished. And I think it's either through he now is salaryman who does nothing but play dating sims, or he has now gotten rid of his passions to be an adult and go be part of society. And I'm not sure which reading they're going to fall on
And
right now.
using him as the character to do that is also kind of interesting because we know that he was lame.
Yeah.
Like, there's no getting around the fact that his interests, his obsessions, like, the anime was looking at the camera and be like, hey, all of you dudes.
Yeah, everybody
you are-
watching this.
You are lame and pathetic. Which was like, wow.
Yeah, I
Like,
love that.
A show like this, out of all the shows to do it, decides to be like, if you want to sleep with your sister or go to an all-girls school, yeah, that's lame and stupid, and so are you. And I'm like, wow, goddamn. And so watching him be like, but now he's got nothing after that, and
Yeah.
that's also interesting.
Yeah. I hope this isn't the last we see of him. I don't think it is, but man, let's talk about robots.
Yeah,
A whole
robots.
bunch of. I loved the dad, the father of the director, his illusion scene. I
Oh
thought
my
that was
god, his illusion scene.
spectacular.
Yes, he's one of the only guys beyond our Boy Scout dude at the beginning who actually got 2 of them.
Yeah.
And that was very neat to me. And oh my god, on the first one he's like,
Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, no. Like if we're doing this, give me that meat though.
Yeah,
give me those
everything,
girls.
What you got? Let's go. And they're leading you to think, oh, he's succumbing to it, and he's like, okay, that was fun.
Yeah, and then he meets his wife.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay. So like the other one was like just chucking a like stone at me. I'm like, fucking bring it. And then suddenly a bullet comes down, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, and he's like, that was a lot harder than the last ones. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, which again goes to show a product of his age.
Yeah.
Like,
So he's obviously fought these things and been through this kind of thing many times before.
Yeah, so when he goes up against this parlor trick, he's like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. Yeah, you're gonna tempt me with food and women. I'm 70 something. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Then he sees his wife, and I'm like, oh, that's like it's a little bit what do you call it? Rote, but I
And
bought
which he
it.
said the same thing. He was
Yeah,
like, oh,
actually.
come on.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, he's like,
And I love that. And again, he actually comments on, because I pointed this out in like episode 3 or something, where they have like the black text that shatters, like that the ceiling dudes are trying to teach them. And it's like, you have nothing to regret. You have nothing to worry about. Like, that's like what they're trying to teach him to keep him going. And he's like, I don't need your stupid lesson. Shut up. So they are being conveyed these things, and because he actively comments on it. I was like, oh, okay,
which I'm
that's
curious
cool.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what has me so intrigued. Like, I'm really curious about the higher workings, because we've seen inklings of them between the ceiling and pacifist dudes. I'm interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if I've talked about this. I love the design. Like, as much as I don't like them being CG, God, I love the designs of the mechs in this.
I noticed they had more shading in this one, or at least more shadows.
You know what? It kinda
and
seemed
I think
like
it looked
that.
a lot, because they were really flat the episode prior. But like when he does the Giga Cat blade and cuts the snake in pieces, he's like fully shaded, and I was like, oh wow, that looks really good.
By the way, the sound that snake
The
thing
sound
makes.
the snake
Oh my
makes,
god.
yes!
Like I
So
love.
good.
I've loved the sound design in this show. When that thing roars, I'm like, whoa.
It's like,
okay.
what the fuck is that? That is not of this planet.
Yeah,
Like,
that
that's
sounds
awesome.
super alien, and I
Yeah,
dig it.
it's like it's like one of those like I don't know how to describe it. It's like those things that have like the slider in it, and you turn it upside down. It goes like, but
know
it's
what?
like inside a Pringles can, just heavily distorted. That's what it sounds like. It's like I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. I wish I knew how to do sound design like that. I wish I knew how to
It's so
make that
cool.
kind of stuff, because
Yeah.
I would go crazy.
I know, like it's so imaginative, and I think that's what captivates me the most about this show is its imagination, and just everything is balls to the wall, anime as anime can be.
Oh
And-
yeah, no, this is the most anime thing on this
yes,
list.
definitely.
And
That's what Sensei says.
that's okay. Actually, I won't lie. That I feel like that is probably the worst running joke in this, if not only because I'm like, okay, but what's the actual thematic relevance? We're saying it every time.
I don't think there is any. That's just her. It's a tick.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be so bad if it were shorter, but it's
Yes.
like a whole fucking like 18 syllables, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I get it.
I got a pack name. So yeah, we agree on something here. We agree.
So here's the thing with this episode. I think the fact that we've almost halved our watch list at this point, let me give it a little bit more attention, a little bit more concentration. I wasn't in physical pain the entire time.
I don't think there's much to be in pain about here, but that's just me.
But this show only has 2 settings, which are incomprehensibly obscure for no reason, which is why there's a fucking maid for no reason. Why is she a maid? Why is it a cat and a dog?
There doesn't need to be a reason for everything.
It's dumb, it's bullshit,
Not
and I hate it.
everything's reason.
Or, hey, let's just explain the themes to you. Love is better than power. This is the theme that we want to teach you. We're just going to talk about it baldly with no nuance at all. We're just going to say exactly, yeah. And I don't like either of those modes. So I can see that they're going for something, but no.
Can we talk about how the fact that Nozo-san, how she basically puts together like, you're a fucking alien, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like you had something to do with that, and
I loved that.
well he's the one who reveals that he's an alien,
Yeah.
but then she immediately puts together like, wait a second, this is lining up. Holy shit. And that's neat. It's neat to see her kind of get clued in on this.
Because and that's what I like. That's because honestly, it's one of my favorite characters to write. And like just to see done is the character who's into the occult who is correct. I love that.
Yeah, especially when you see actual, like, this shit is real, obviously. We've already seen this actually happening in real life.
There's crazy, stupid aliens. Duh. We know this is real.
So the occult club it's sort of interesting because they have more validity than than a regular occult club has.
Yeah.
So when she puts this shit together, it makes sense. It's like, oh, good. Lois Lane over here is actually paying attention. God damn.
And I love when he's like, haha, that's a funny joke. He's like, okay, that's how I'll treat it.
Also, I like that callback.
Yeah.
When in the beginning, we get the story of how, what'd you call him, Lex Luthor?
Yeah, director.
Yeah.
I called him Alexander Luthor because in the comics, Alexander Luthor is the one with the red hair instead of being bald.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see his story, and they're like, oh, haha, that was an old joke.
Yeah.
Parallel that.
By the way, I'm almost certain at this point that that guy is the same species that Kuroi is.
Yeah, he's going to be a Siriusian.
Yeah, Siriusian. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Siriusian. I don't know.
They're going to get up to serious business together.
Yeah, they are. Also, I'm looking forward.
That's my last piece of investment is making puns. It's all I've got. Don't take it away from me.
No, keep it up, please. Absolutely. Your pun game is the best part of the show. I can't wait for the battle between Kuroi and the old man because
that had an awesome build up to me.
Dude, I love the fact that like, whoa, he didn't hesitate for a second. He was just like, go right in there, gets that sword out, and
It's
it's
like,
like,
you want my fucking vial, so let's do it.
and also they're both meat lovers.
Yep.
And so I'm kind of curious how that's gonna pan out.
It's like you can't get hit from that sword, and he's pulling the real. I love also, by the way, when they do the what do they call it? The this with the borders.
Oh yeah, where they crop.
Letterbox shit.
Yeah.
With that, they're like, oh, okay, we're getting some Kurosawa shit. Fun.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for homages to Kurosawa stuff and Kurosawa, not Kurosawa. And I absolutely adore some of the cinematography or some of this. I talk about storyboarding a lot, but that's what makes animation good.
Yeah, that's the medium that you work with to convey meaning. It's fun.
I think poorly storyboarded shows super.
What? Can you say that louder for the people in the back and the people that are watching and the people that listen and the people that love it?
Bad storyboarding makes for a bad animated series. Like you can fill in a lot of other things. It can be beautifully animated. It can have great art. If your storyboarding's bad, it is a bad thing to watch.
Yep.
So like that, and that's another solid thing that this show has. It's not the best. I'd say the best storyboarding in this is Revue Starlight and Banana Fish.
Yeah.
But this show does a lot with its motifs. And I continue to get like not the best vibes that I got from Fooly Cooly. The best vibes.
No, but totally. It's that same. It is that same note.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting there.
It's that same high-minded craziness kind of thrown at the wall. It's why she's a maid. Why is she a maid? Fuck if I care.
I don't care.
Like
she's a maid. Welcome to anime.
But yeah, so still enjoying Planet With. It's got its problems, but I'm still kind of way on board to see where it goes.
It's good. I
I'm
like it a
up-
lot.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to step over you there. But yeah, I'm hooked on a feeling, and that feeling is cat doping.
Ben, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. Oh,
yeah,
oh,
no,
sorry.
trust,
Okay,
I'm
all right,
sorry.
all right.
You can wake up.
Okay, good.
I'm in aside.
I'm sorry. I know you wakare mas, but I wakare menos.
There's that,
Wakarimasen.
there's that clip at the end of Revue Starlight with the giraffe just saying "Wakari mas," and I just want to get that. Just want to get the giraffe saying, "Do you Wakari mas?"
Let's see how much we wakare mas about cells at work. That's a double fuck for Planet With, by the way. In episode 5 of Cells at Work, the immune system overreacts to the presence of cedar pollen, causing a massive allergic reaction. Fortunately, a friendly steroid shows up and murders everyone to put a stop to it. Pod 6 was jerks.
By the way, so I'd like to point out something. They are the same white and red cells. And do you know how? I know that.
How do you know that?
They have their tags on their hats. There's 1146 for the white blood cell and 3803 for the red blood cell. It's the same ones every episode.
Well, I mean, is Captain Murphy the same Captain Murphy in every episode of C-Lab, even though he dies in half of them?
They at least denote which ones are which, like on their hats to let you know that. And then, not to mention, we never see them die. So
All the cells are actually the same because all they do is make up one person. You wouldn't cut off that person's finger and say that isn't that person anymore, right? Right?
But what
Does
if
it
there's
matter?
been a blood transfusion and it's a different body?
What
and
if?
they
Oh
go-
my God.
Ooh,
What if
now I want to see that episode.
What if I transferred all of my blood over to you, and then eventually we kept swapping organs over and over and over until eventually we became copies of each other? Which one are we?
Ooh, that's creepy and neat. I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, what happens when they think that there are all these horrible invaders coming at them from someplace?
yeah.
But actually, their human just got laid.
Ooh!
Interesting.
Can we have a STD episode?
So this is so cool. I didn't know about this, and somebody
Where are we
pointed it
going
out.
now?
No, Cells at Work Black. It's a manga.
No, it isn't.
It's a
No, it's
spin-off
not.
manga
You're lying
that
to
is
me.
all about somebody
No, it's
who lives an unhealthy lifestyle.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it flips the genders of red
Hang on.
and white.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, look it up.
Exist.
Also, can we get a shot where it just zooms out and keeps zooming out, and soon, before long, the camera zooms out through a pore, and you see who this person is, and it's Slim Goodbody the whole time?
Yep.
Oh my God, you're right.
Cells at Work Black.
Oh fuck. Yeah, with girl white blood cell. Oh, she's hot as shit.
Yeah,
Great.
she is, and she's apparently even more ruthless and violent than the.
man.
We get
yeah.
a cancer cell and Cells at Work Black.
Yes, that's what I wanted. Okay.
Yep, alcoholism. Like the body that they inhabit is overstressed, does not work out enough, drinks and eats too much. Yeah.
Me.
Remember? So we were talking about early on, like, hey, when are we going to get these episodes? When they adapt this manga. I couldn't believe it too. But somebody in the comments,
Okay. That's fun.
Yep.
My life is enriched. Yeah.
I hope. I wonder if there's a way to. I wonder if that's. I
would
don't
be
know
like
if
an
those are
OVA.
translated, and
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
want
know.
to pirate these manga, but I might have to because I'm so fucking curious.
Yeah. No, I'm curious to see where that shit goes. We've done everything but talk about this episode.
Yeah.
It's because there's still nothing to talk about. It's still the same formula all over again. It's a good formula. It's fine.
Yeah.
I found myself nodding off again. And,
Yep.
and
I kind of felt that a bit too.
yeah, and that was not because I was actually tired that day. Like last Sunday, I was awake for everything else on this list, and this I was kind of like, huh?
I want to put this out there. This is far from a bad show.
No.
Yeah,
in fact,
I don't- this is whatever it's called. Tiny Life in the Woods.
Yeah,
Okay.
Akaman and
Kinda.
Mikoshi.
For at least because it's not bad.
Yeah, in fact, it's probably better than that show.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll
I
see.
would say this. I got different things out of both of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
For Tiny Little Life in the Woods, it was kind of this anime huga of just like relax and enjoy this story about
Yeah.
a couple of people, and sometimes the stakes get risen just a little bit, but never to
Yeah.
the point where
Also,
you're
the
like,
cadet branch is subservient to the main branch of the family, and it's real bad. The cousins want to. No?
Yeah, and you have the two different clans, and
Yeah.
the one of them have to serve, and then one member dies, and it's real sad.
Yeah.
The other one marries Naruto.
Yep.
That's pretty all right.
It's anime Hugo.
Anime Hugo.
oh my god, fuck. You both. Oh my god. Wow. I feel like I'm the least weeby one here. How did that happen?
You said Hyuga.
Yeah, but still.
I think it's like Hyga or something like that.
Hyga,
Something like that.
Hyuga-
Whatever it is, it's not Hyuga.
Yeah. Also, if a fucking Naruto reference is the weebiest thing that happens at this table, then something went wrong.
That's also fair.
That was on Toonami, motherfucker. Okay, I'm still over here on the shallow end of the pool.
JoJo's is on Adult Swim.
And there are still people out there that don't know that those cartoons come from China. So like they still think they're made in some American warehouse somewhere.
Also true. I want to know the guy who knows nothing about anime who tunes into an episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Can you just imagine that? Like for a second, how do you respond to that? How do you
I don't
watch?
know.
What do you do?
Man, I could like time travel like 15 years ago and introduce you to Grant. He thought Pokemon was American.
Well, of course they eat. They
Yeah,
eat donuts. Yeah.
You know, it was weird because I'd already gotten way into Dragon Ball and I knew about it. I knew about anime by the time Pokemon started, so I was like,
Yeah.
fucking.
No, I mean,
it's-
I was Same here. I never had any delusions, but I've met a few people that were like, I thought it was just another type of art form of American cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then Teen Titans came along and made it their own,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
American anime.
I mean, they perfected it with Go, obviously.
Yes, that's right.
Everyone's favorite.
So Hataraki Saibo is a cool show. Cells at Work. I like it. Mostly because if you're into biology, it's going to have a lot of things there for you. Especially, like, I talked to my husband about it. He's like, I kind of want to watch the show.
Has he not watched it yet?
Oh, my husband doesn't watch much
I know,
anime.
but I feel like I think he would actually like get a kick out of this.
You know what show that he and I actually watched that we
What?
both loved? Fucking Sergeant Frog.
Oh, okay, then he would love this.
But we also watched the dub, so.
Oh yeah, no, the dub's real good.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a show that I love. I don't. Oh my god, it's weird. It's hard for me to say that this is a really good show that everybody should watch, but I don't want to watch it. But I feel like this if for the audience that's out there for this, they're probably going to love this show because I can see that it's doing all those things right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's the laziest thing in the world to say, but that doesn't make it any less true. If you've enjoyed it up to this point, keep watching. You're probably going to keep enjoying it. If you feel like you're nodding off and it's time to stop, it's probably time to stop.
Yeah.
And I think that's with any show that is episodic. I think that just happens sometimes. Like, because if there's no through line, then it's either I'm showing up for plot points A, B, and C. I will always get plot points A, B, and C. Maybe they're varied, and it's how much that's worth to you.
you know what's going to make me hold this sign up though? It's when I saw the next episode preview.
Oh, I didn't see it. What is it?
It's backstory on white and red blood cells. It's their backstory.
Oh, yeah.
It's how did they grow up and join the force and
As little chibi children.
yeah. I saw that and my first response was a guttural no reaction. Like, I don't want that. That is not something I'm interested in. And that's why this is coming out. Because I realized we're taking a break away from the action and I still don't want it. Mm-hmm. That's a bad sign. So I'm going to hold up this knife. And I want people who enjoy this show, I understand why you do. And I don't think you're wrong. And I am so glad that this show exists. Because, again, as I said before, it is a very well-made show for what it's trying to do. I'm just not into it.
Whatever I do, everyone's going to yell at me anyway, so it doesn't matter. I watched Osmosis Jones, actually,
Yeah?
a few days ago, because I was like, okay, Cells at Work, we're thinking about Osmosis Jones. I watched that. It's a real gross movie. It's a very gross movie.
I kind of wish it wasn't as gross. Otherwise, it would have been easier for me to watch.
I felt that grossness is what made it fun.
Yeah.
I felt that grossness gave it its identity. And I'm glad Drick showed up for this episode, but he did not make me laugh at all. It's kind of what everyone else has been saying. It's good. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. I got what I wanted. It's not evoking much of, haha, oh wow, I can't believe they did X. Haha, oh wow, I can't believe that happened. I get the joke. It's a fine joke. I've now heard it 5 times.
Yeah. I feel like if I were reading this as a manga, it might
I
actually
could
be more
probably-
enjoyable
yeah.
for me.
Now, that puts me in an interesting position.
know!
Oh, Ben's gonna metagame. I can't believe Kieran metagames to make this happen.
Because everybody says, Ben metagames too much. Ben, fuck you all. Because if I held up an eggplant, it would go to a poll, and there would be a chance that Happy Sugar Life would die. But I'd already decided going into this, I do not regret watching a single episode of the 5 that we've watched of Cells
Yeah.
at Work. It was a lovely meal. I'm full.
Yes, I've had enough of cake. It was lovely.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. And if I were to hold up an eggplant now, it would be for the sole purpose of sending it to poll.
Well, I hope you enjoy your next meal of Hakal with Happy Sugar Life. By the way, for those of you who don't know what Hakal is, Google it. It's delicious.
They have century eggs at H Mart.
Ah, that is so weird.
I know, right?
Wow.
I want to get one at some point. Tyler, let's film something. Let's go get century eggs.
I was
and-
about to say I'll do it with you. I'm ready.
Oh my God, please do that. I would love to have that on video.
Well, guys, that's a triple kill for Cells at Work. It's a grave injustice. Cells at Work dies before at least 3 things that should have died, but that's the world we live in. It's 2018 and everything's garbage.
Can't believe it's the current year and things are so bad.
Yep, things are the worst. Worse than any year to come before or
No,
since.
it's the current year. I can't
Until-
How
believe
can you
this is
say that
happening
in the current year?
in this current year of
Yep.
our Lord?
In this year, no, our Lord's dead. They killed him.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
no
the
longer-
current year of our science.
Yep, the science.
Science praise.
RN Jesus is Lord now.
Oh, yes, that's right.
There is no God but the roll of the dice.
That's right. Only entropy, only chaos.
Yep. Don't get run over by a Mack truck before next week, or you won't be able to see us talk about more bad shows.
I do love the fact, like, I feel like this, you know what? I feel like throughout the run of this whole show, you and I have rarely gotten a chance to have full-on conversations.
Yeah.
And this time it's like, no,
and
fuck it.
I've so rarely gotten a chance to catch up on my sleep. So this is this
I
is
know,
great.
and exactly. And so he needs to get. He's getting. Everybody's getting what they need.
Exactly. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next week.
Later.